everybody, and welcome back to my Crusade for Lefties channel. Today we are going to learn how to do a leaf coaster. What you will need is your hook. I'm using a 5mm hook. You will need some yarn. It can be cotton or acrylic. Scissors for snipping your yarn. And tapestry needles for weaving in your ends. So once you have all of these materials, let's head over to the table and get started. See you later! Hi everybody! To start the base of our coaster, we want to take our yarn and wrap it around our hand and form a magic ring. Once we have our magic ring, we are going to single crochet 6 times into our circle. So because we have already chained 1 when we secured our magic ring, we are going to go ahead and start single crocheting into our magic ring. So you want to take your hook, insert it into the circle and underneath the tail, grab our yarn, pull up the loop. You should now have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. And there is our first single crochet. And because we are crocheting into a ring, it might be a little bit difficult to start off. So we're going to do that 5 more times for a total of 6. Alright, so I now have 5 single crochets in my magic circle. So we just need 1 more. And that will complete row 1. So there is my 6th single crochet. To close off the circle, we want to grab our tail and pull it until it cinches shut. There we go. We want to take our hook and insert it into the very first single crochet stitch that we made. So right through there, and close it with a slip stitch. And you will be ready for row 2. So there's the end of row 1. For rows 2 and 3, we want to chain 2 and then half double crochet into the same stitch as the joining. And once we've done that, we want to half double crochet into each of the next stitch twice all the way around. For row 2, you should have a total of 12 at the end, and for row 3, you should have a total of 24. So there's my 2 half double crochet in the same stitch as joining, and now I will half double crochet twice into each of the next stitch. So there's 2. To close off row 2, we are going to skip our chain 3 and slip stitch into the first half double crochet that we made. Chain 2, and then repeat row 2, and then we should have a total of 24 half double crochets. So there's 1. To complete row 3, after you have double checked and made sure that you have 24 stitches, you want to skip the chain 3 and slip stitch into that very first stitch that you made at the beginning. And you are now ready for row 4. So we are now ready to start forming the base of our shells. And what we want to do is skip this stitch and slip stitch into the next one. Now we want to double crochet 7 times into the very next stitch, and that forms the base for the point of our leaf coaster. So there's 1, 2, 3, 'To secure my second shell, I want to skip this stitch that's right next to my 7th double crochet and slip stitch right into the next one. And just like our first one, we are going to slip stitch into the next one, and that will start our 3rd shell. So I will go ahead and let you guys go and meet you back when you have all 5 shells. So now that you've got all of your shells, you should have a total of 5. And now you are ready to start the stem to complete the body of your leaf coaster. So let's turn it around and slip stitch into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. You now want to chain 4. Once you got 4 chains, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch all the way down until you reach this stitch, and you will slip stitch back into that same stitch, and that will form the base of your leaf coaster, the stem for your leaf coaster. So there's 1, 2, 3, and slip stitching into that same stitch, and there is a cute little stem. We are now ready to begin our points for our leaf coaster. And what we want to do is start slip stitching up 6 stitches until we reach the top of our first shell. So there's 1. Right into this next stitch, we are going to half double crochet 3 times into the same stitch. There's 1, 2, 3. We now want to chain 3, and that will form the point of the first point for our leaf coaster. 2, alright, there's 3, and then we are going to slip stitch back into that last stitch. Once we've done that, we are going to half double crochet 2 more times into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, 1, and finish our first point, we are going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, and 2. And there is your very first point of your leaf coaster. To begin point 2, we want to single crochet up the next 4 stitches. Two, 3, 4. Now right into this next stitch, we want to half double crochet 2 times into the same stitch. And just like we did for point 1, we are going to chain 3. Slip stitch back into that same stitch. And finish off point 2 by single crocheting twice into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1. And 2. And there is point 2. Point 3 is our third and tallest stitch. What we want to do first is start off with a slip stitch. Right into the next one, we want to single crochet. Into the next one, we are going to half double crochet. And into the third, we are going to double crochet. Now right into this next stitch, we are going to work a double crochet. Into the same stitch, we are going to work a treble crochet. So right now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. And just like points 1 and 2, we are going to chain 3. Slip stitch back into the treble we just made. And then we are going to double crochet into the next stitch. That will be followed by a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. And we will finish point 3 with a slip stitch right into the next one. And there is point 3. Point 4 is going to be a little easier because we slip stitch into the next stitch. We then want to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. We now work a double crochet into the next stitch. There's 1 double crochet. And just like the rest of our points, we are going to chain 3. Slip stitch back into that double crochet that we just made. And then single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And that will form point 4. And we want to finish it off by slip stitching into the next 2. There's 1 and 2. We are now ready to begin our last point. And what we want to do is slip stitch into the very next stitch. We then want to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. We then want to half double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Into this very next stitch, we want to work 1 half double crochet. And just like we did for all of our points, we want to chain 3. Slip stitch back into the half double crochet that we made. And single crochet into the next 3. We then want to slip stitch all the way until we reach the stem of our leaf coaster and fasten off. And there is the end of our leaf coaster. So this is what your leaf would end up looking like once you are done with all of your points. And ta-da! So now what you want to do is grab your yarn needle and weave in all of your tails. And if you decided to use cotton, this would be a pretty little coaster. And you could also use this leaf for red paint and decorating for the fall. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm sorry that it was a little long, but I felt like this was a perfect way to use all of the stitches from our basement series. Snip off your yarn, and you now have a finished